Unlike the pardoner, the knight is described as the most noble of the pilgrims. He is worthy and honorable. He is the first to start telling the tale, and his story fits perfectly with his personality. It is all about battles, courtly love, and honor. When we talk about courtly love, we are referring to the medieval European noble society. They had a conception of love related to erotic desire, spiritual attachment, and the person could stop eating and sleeping, sick in love. And other value is related to chivalry, that is the call of the knights in relationship to honor, honesty, and royalty. We can also see in this tale the different roles to men and women. To men is expected to rule, to maintain the order, to use the reason above other emotions, and for women was expected to appeal, to rely on men's strength, to give mercy and compassion. So the tale starts with the knight saying that many years ago there was a great soldier. His name was Theseus, and he was married with Hippolyta, and they lived in Athens. Hippolyta had a sister, a young and beautiful sister, that her name was Emily. One day, a soldier came with bad news. He said that Creon has begun a war against Theseus, and that Creon has won the city of Thebes. So Theseus decided to go with an army and defeat Creon. But when they were returning, they found two knights very bad hurt. Their names were Arcite and Palomon. They were rich, and their family offered gold in exchange for their freedom. But Theseus decided to send them to prison, to one of the highest towers, because they were enemies. So Theseus, Palomon, and Arcite spent a lot of years there, up to one day Emily was walking through the garden, and Palomon got up early, and he decided to look through the window. And when he saw Emily, he immediately fell in love with her. She was so beautiful that his face got white. And when Arcite saw him, he decided to look through the window also, and he fell in love with Emily too. So they started an argue between them, because Palomon had seen Emily before, and Arcite told Palomon that love was free. And they were in prison, both of them, so nothing happened. But one day, another duke named Perophius came to Athens to visit Theseus, and he begged him to free his friend Arcite. And well, Theseus accepted with the condition that Arcite couldn't return to Athens again. In the case he returned, he's going to be killed. So, Arcite was free, but he wasn't happy. He couldn't sleep and eat, and he got sick because he couldn't see Emily anymore. And Palum wasn't happy either because he could see Emily, but he was in prison. But, well, Palum could go out from prison with the help of a friend. And Arcite one day had a dream. The god Mercury appeared to him and told him to return to Athens. So Arcite decided to return because he was unrecognizable and he could start working for Theseus. But he was near Emily, but he couldn't talk to her. And he decided to have a ride in the woods. Meanwhile, he was talking in a loud voice how to conquer Emily. And Palomon, that was hidden behind a tree, heard Arcite, and they had a fight between them. And so they decided to challenge each other to a duel for the next day. And well, meanwhile they were fighting, Zeus, that was with Hippolyta and Emily, heard about this fight. And when he appeared, he saw both men, and they confessed who were they and that they were in love with Emily. So Theseus got very angry with them. He wanted to kill them. But Emily begged Theseus that to do something else. So Theseus decided to organize a tournament in 1 year. For this, they would have to return to Athens with an army of 100 soldiers each. And the winner will marry Emily. And well, 1 year passed, and Theseus built a stadium with 3 temples. One temple for the goddess Venus for love. The other temple for Diana, the goddess of the moon. And the other temple for Mars, the god of war. All Athens was excited for this day except for Emily, that went to pray for the goddess Diana to stay unmarried. But Diana told her that she had to marry with one of the knights. So she decided to trust in Diana's plans. And well, Palomon visited the temple of Venus to pray for Emily's love. and Arcite walked to the temple of Mars and begged to win the battle. The tournament began and both armies lined up in equal skill. Suddenly, Palamon was defeated, but he didn't want to accept his loss. He couldn't lose Emily's love. But Theseus ended the battle and he announced that Arcite had won and he could get married with Emily. When Arcite was riding victoriously, his horse suddenly scared of something and he fell over Arcite. He was very hurt, and when he was taken to get his wounds healed, he only got worse. And well, he knew that he would die. So he asked Emily to get married with his brave cousin Palamon. After saying this, he died. And well, all Athens cried and they didn't want any more fightings. So Theseus decided that to unite both cities, Palamon and Emily could have married. And well, this is the end of the story. And we can see in this tale how fate can change the life of a person and how the spirituality is related to God and can have an influence in their lives.